Hello and welcome to today's webinar for newly admitted degree students at Linköping University. Today we have a special focus on humanities, business administration and social sciences. My name is Karina Scherberg. I work with international student recruitment and I have two guests with me today. Today's webinar will have two parts. The first one will be recorded and put on our website. And that is a discussion between us three here. Whereas the second part will be dedicated to questions from you, the attendees, and that will be done live, so that won't be able to see that afterwards. So very welcome. And we will focus today on the academic side of being a degree student here. So, my dear guests, who are you? Let's start with the ladies.
Okay. I'm Clara. I'm from Taiwan. I'm currently studying computational social science at Linköping University.
They're welcome. And you?
Hello, everyone. My name is Henrik Nehler. I'm the Pro-Dean at the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. And before that, I was the program director for our business and economics programs for a very long time.
Good.
Yeah.
Have you also been a student here, maybe?
I've also been a student here, so I have a lot of knowledge about how is it to be a student.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So I thought we start by going back, not a year entirely, but maybe back to, let's say, mid-August last year, when you arrived, Clara. And the cutoff point, or the starting point for all of it, is actually the roll call. Could you tell us a bit more about the roll call, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say for all admitted students, that is probably the most important event at the beginning of the semester, because you need to be present on roll call to secure your place in the program. Otherwise, they would just think that you're not going to attend this program anymore and you will be kicked out of the program. So for me, I had my roll call last August, and I went to a classroom where they put a piece of paper with all of the students' name on it, and what we did was that we pick up that piece of paper with our name, with my name on it. Yeah.
And another version is that the teachers just call out the names in alphabetical order of the admitted students, and they just say present here or something like that. Yeah, so that's for the on-campus programs. For the distance programs, they would have to do everything online. So the information for you who are admitted to a distance program, it is on the admitted webpage where you find the process. So, going back to starting with the program in general, what would you say, Clara, is the difference between being a bachelor student and now being a master student?
I would say as a master's student, you definitely have more autonomy. And what I mean by that is you are expected to not just attend the courses, but you also have to do quite a lot of self-studying, and which I think is the biggest difference compared to my bachelor's study.
And Henrik, what would you say?
I would say that you need to be more active now as a master student. Before, as a bachelor student, I think you were more passive, receiving knowledge from the teacher. Now we see you as a partner, that you are actually contributing to knowledge together with your fellow classmates, fellow students, but also together with the teacher. So much more of an active role in actually creating knowledge, new knowledge.
And we said that the academic year here actually starts with a roll call and then classes get started the same week. But could you give an overline of the academic year?
Yes, most of our programs have 4 courses per semester. And normally most programs have 1 course at a time in a serial order. And you study 1 subject for 5 weeks, and then you have a new subject for 5 weeks. And so normally you have 8 courses for the full year.
So classes will end around 10th, 15th of June, something like that.
Yes, that's true. And for the Christmas break, the semester ends around 20th of January, the year after the Christmas break. But you have some sort of Christmas break in between.
Excellent. So if you now look at the schedule, I guess you plan your life around it. So if we start talking about your weekly schedule, what can you have in a week?
Mm, that depends on if I have courses for that day, but like in general, my courses are usually in the morning, so which means I would have to get up early and I attend courses, and after that I would have lunch with my classmates, and after that I would actually stay on campus to study a little bit more, and or like let's say do a little bit of group work. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you make a distinction maybe between lectures and seminars? What is the difference?
Lectures mostly are, let's say, sessions where you have teachers, professors, and they will like stand in front of the classroom and like teach you something, and that is which is pretty similar from I guess most of the bachelor's lectures. Uh, as for seminar, that is when we have a lot of group discussions where when the professors actually are not going to participate in those discussions as much compared to a lecture.
Would you like to add something there on the lectures, seminars?
Yeah, I would say that like a typical week for a lot of programs is maybe that you start Monday with a couple of lectures, and then you're supposed to be active, actually to work, to read some sort of material and prepare it together with some group mates. And then you have maybe a seminar solving some kind of question, case or something like that for Wednesday. And then you have maybe a new task to solve, and then you maybe have a new seminar on Friday. So even though we don't have that many actually hours in classroom every week, you will work a lot every week.
Yeah. Full-time studies.
Full-time
actually.
studies, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
usually means at least 40 hours per week. What would you say regarding 40 hours per week?
I would say in my program that is let's say studying of 8 hours. I feel like it's not. I'm most of the time not barely making it because we've got lots of literature readings, and it takes a lot of time to not just run through the text, but to actually comprehend it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say like the 8 hour framework is in general quite working quite well.
And you also have some labs, actually at your computational social science and also at the statistics and machine learning. They also have a lot of labs. Could you describe what you do during these labs?
So labs, that is when they always go together with let's say a course, and like so in the lecture we have those concepts, but like in labs that is when we actually have to let's say familiarize ourselves with those technical parts, like how to make those statistical model work on our laptop, for example.
Henrik, would you like to add something when it comes to the question of time management?
Yeah, I think since there's quite a lot of literature, quite a lot to read, but you also have some sort of final exams at the end of these 5 weeks, but you also have a lot of seminars in between. So even though you got a lot of help structuring the course that you have to do, you work every week. There's a lot to study and a lot to learn. So my recommendation is, of course, to start to read and study right away. So
From day one.
From day one in the courses. Because it seems that you have not so many lectures in the schedule, and you're starting to, I can do it tomorrow, but that will not work. So
No.
so start right away.
I also know that a lot of people think about working and they say, oh, I don't have that much to do. I can easily work. But the thing is, group works, projects tend to take much time, much time. So now we talked about a week, and what does an ordinary day, weekday, what does it look like for you?
So for in days when I have lecture, I would usually attend the lecture first, and then I would stay at the university to study. And as for if I don't have any courses, I was actually still go to university to study. I really like the main library. I would stay there from as early as morning, or like then in between, I would have my lunch, and after that I would stay a little bit more, maybe till late in the afternoon, depending on like how I feel, and then I go home like and relax.
Yeah, so it's kind of like work.
Yeah.
8 till 5. And also, I should say that it's quite common these days that students do come to campus. They sit on campus to study as well. So we do have about 1,100 study places at Studenthuset on campus of LiU in Linköping, and there are several hundreds in Norrköping as well. So now we talked about an ordinary week and a day. There can also be different kinds of exams. Could you exemplify?
Yes, for example, I have a written exam for Statistics and Data Science 1. That is just, I believe it is quite similar to many of the exams like many people would have in their bachelor's study. That is when you write everything down on the paper and you sit in the classroom for a designated period of time.
Yeah. So when it comes to written exams, what happens if I fail? If I don't succeed as well as I did during my bachelor studies, what happens then?
Every year at Linköping University, you will have 3 opportunities. So if you fail the first time, you have a second retake and a first retake and a second retake.
Okay.
And if you fail all 3, which will not happen for your course, you're always welcome back the next year as well. So you can actually take an exam infinity times.
Okay. Yeah. Are there some other kinds of exams that you've had here so far during your first year?
Yes, absolutely. For my program, it's actually very common to have a final report that can be either be done individually or like in a group work. And so far, I've had both of them. And like for those reports, usually it's like depending on like what how advanced you are. In my first semester, we actually only had to write reports on, I would say more about research design, that sort of stuff, and methodology. But in my second semester, which is like my current semester, we would actually get some data and like that we have to conduct our analysis on.
And I also know that we have something special. In Swedish it's called dugga. Maybe you could, Henrik, explain a bit more what it is.
Yes, dugga is like more of a small written exam. It's mostly designing courses to actually help you out. So it's often quite early in the course. And maybe you get some extra points for the final written exams. So that's to help you out to really start reading the material early on in the course. So I would say it's a smaller written exam, testing more terminology and stuff like that.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So now we go into literature. You said piles, and you also said that you can you get a literature list, but it's up to you what you study. So who is your best friend when it comes to literature? Where do you find your literature?
And sometimes the teachers will give us what we say course reading, and in that case those literatures most are from the teachers. But when we have to, as I mentioned, we have lots of reports that we have to write. In that case, I usually go for Google Scholar and as some sort of, let's say, initial investigation, like what is this to get a broader picture of what I get if I'm interested in this subject. And then you find those that are more, let's say, most cited, which means lots of scholars actually kind of they back up or they cited this piece of work in their article as well. And then I would just go down from that and I would also check their reference list to see what kind of literature they've reviewed before.
And we also offer some workshops, I know, in particular for master students early on at the start of the semester, to get to know the library better in order to be able to do more functional searches. And if you're afraid about English or speaking and writing in English and not that confident, you should be aware that we do offer something called academic English support, which is a support service offered by the English department here, and you contact them online. Of course, there's also study counselors linked to each and every program. So when it comes to expectations, that's why we have these webinars, so that everybody should know what to expect. And then I also like to talk to you, Henrik, about your expectations as a teacher in the classrooms. What did you expect from the students actually coming here?
It's a little bit related to what we have discussed so far, but I think, firstly and foremost, I think it's very important that we have an open and a positive atmosphere in the classroom. So everyone dares to state their own opinion. So we have an inclusive atmosphere. And I also think it's very important as you as a student come prepared to the classroom, to the seminars, and that you're also engaged in discussion, that everyone speaks out. And as I said before, I think it's also very important that your opinion matters. So it's very valuable that you are together with your classmates and the teacher actually contributing to knowledge. So all these things together, I think, contribute to a good seminar culture, that we are actually helping each other and getting better results together. I think that's important.
And also talking about challenges, Clara, you might have noticed something about common challenges for the new students arriving to a new university, a new country. Any comments from you as a student?
I would say that it feels a bit common when I had my group discussions that some classmates from certain culture, maybe I know that because I'm also coming from a similar culture. I know that like in certain education system is really or actually it is expected that what the students do is just sit there and like listen to what whatever the teacher is saying, and they're just which makes them not very used to expressing their opinions. But I would say in my program, there are lots of group work, and you are actually, as a master's student, you are actually expected to actively participate in those discussions. Otherwise, it is just gonna be really difficult for other people to like make a guess on what you might be thinking. And I know that it can feel a bit challenging in the beginning, but as long as you try, I believe that most of you are going to do a really good job.
Thank you. And now I'm thinking forward. You're at the end of the second semester, and the third semester is something a semester where you specialize. So one option is to go on an internship. To go to a company abroad or in Sweden. A second option is to go as an exchange student. Would you like to add something maybe for the exchange possibilities here?
Yes, we have actually quite a lot of exchange possibilities at Linköping University. So even though you're coming to Sweden as international master students, you're very, very welcome. You have also the opportunity to actually go abroad to another part of the university in another country for one semester in most of our international master programs. And you have... I would say that we have actually more agreements or exchange places at our part of the universities that we have students from LiU that wants to study abroad. So you have actually quite a lot of opportunities to study abroad when you come to Linköping University.
Yeah. So have an extra look on the curriculum, I would say, for the third semester in particular, because that's when you can see if you can go abroad, do an internship, or whether you stay here. And also, usually during the third semester, that's where you have the electives. The electives are the courses where you can choose the courses you'd like to take, whereas during the first two semesters, it's usually mandatory. So you can kind of link your third semester to the subject area you're interested in doing your thesis in. So linking this to the thesis then, maybe you should say a few words about the thesis. How does it work here?
Yes. Your final semester at your master program will actually be the master thesis. So it will be a thesis for 30 ECTS, 30 credits. And you will also get some help with structuring in most programs also for the master thesis. So you probably have a lot of milestones or seminars during this 20 weeks actually. So you probably have a couple of seminars around problematization, methodology, some frame of reference, preliminary results, pre-seminars and so on that you need to attend and get help from your supervisor. And all their students as well helping you out. So quite often the students helping each other out as well during the master thesis.
Do you work alone or in pairs?
Good question. That's the difference between different programs. So some programs you are supposed to write alone, and in some programs you are supposed to write in pairs.
Okay, so there's also a possibility, let's say, to work with a research group at LiU?
Yes. In some programs, there are the opportunity to work with the research group, but you also have the opportunity to for your empirical material to go outside of the LiU and doing interviews with companies, public and private organizations, and that's quite actually an advantage, I would say, when you come to a Swedish master program, is that we are, I would say, relatively other countries a little bit easier with access. So quite often Swedish organizations are quite happy to answer questions and to book times for interviews, helping actually knowledge forward. So that's I would say great advantage to be in a Swedish master program.
And I got some reflections from earlier students as well, that they might see this as a potential employer in the future. So it's a two-way trial period, I would say.
Good way of getting contacts and so on. Yeah, some companies in Sweden also send out what to call it invitations to Swedish universities. So we want some students doing their exam thesis, final thesis at our company, studying this question, and then you, together with your supervisor, can work with this question, so it works both for the company and for your academic results.
And what about the PhD possibilities? I know that some of our attendees, they are already now maybe thinking about continuing as PhD students.
I think we have actually good possibilities for PhD positions as well here at Linköping University. We are a research university. I have actually quite a lot of experience from my department of Management Engineering, and our master programs in that department. Quite a lot during the years of our master students has actually started a PhD position at our department. And in my corridor today, actually, I have a lot of colleagues that are former master students from our master program. So I have Vespa from Tunisia and Hugo from France and Alexander from Germany and so on. So they're actually former master students.
Excellent.
Lecturers today. So that's great.
Lovely to hear. And I'm about to kind of finish this part, but Clara, one last thing. Is there something in particular that you would have loved to know before coming here?
And I would say I feel like, so before coming here, I actually got a list of literature from the program. And now I feel like I really hope I should have run through them beforehand.
Okay.
Yes.
That's very ambitious, I must say. So thank you both for sharing your input and your knowledge. And the main starting point for all of you newly admitted students is the website, liu.se/admitted. That's where you go to start searching for anything. And now we will close this and put it online in a few days. And I'll open up for our Q&A. Please put your questions in the Q&A section, and my colleague will forward some questions to me.